The world of nutrition is really fascinating, especially when it comes to the debate on what's the best diet for fat loss, building muscle, and just overall good health. It's almost become a religion for some people. Having said that, the one golden rule when it comes to nutrition and what the best diet is for you, because there's no one size fits all approach. Bio-individuality plays a huge role here. There's really no one diet that's great for everyone. A lot of different diets like keto, paleo, pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, all the way down to carnivore, they all have great attributes and qualities about them, especially when it comes to helping different kinds of people with different issues to deal with. So there's not really one diet that you should follow to achieve optimal health. Everyone's different. That's why I'm a big fan of taking a multifaceted approach. Everyone's gonna need a different diet depending on their beliefs and their goals. Like if I tell a vegan to, you should start eating meat, it's probably not gonna go well. But there's one rule that applies to any diet that you follow or any lifestyle that you follow that encompasses and defines your health. And this rule is drastically gonna help with fat loss and building lean muscle. This rule applies no matter which diet or nutrition plan you follow. And I think we can all agree on this for once. The rule is whole foods, I'm talking about real foods, is king above all else. And you've heard me promote whole foods in basically all my videos. I always want you to be eating real food. And this is the definition of a whole foods approach. If you just revolve your diet around single ingredient, mostly in processed, nutrient-dense foods 90 to 95% of the time, I can almost guarantee you that you're gonna be healthy, you're gonna shed all your unwanted body fat, you're gonna fit better into your clothes, you're gonna have more energy, you're gonna feel amazing, and you're gonna be happy. Who doesn't want that? And we don't need to get into a discussion whether carbs are bad for you or carbs are good for you, or if meat is bad for the environment. It's not, by the way, especially if it comes from regenerative sources. Like grass-fed and grass-finished beef is actually carbon negative. Just want to point that out. We also don't need to get in an argument whether fat and cholesterol are bad for you. Again, they're not. Like dietary fat won't clog up your arteries. Cholesterol is essential to every cellular function in your body. Like you would die without cholesterol. You can make any argument you want about a food group or a certain type of food, a nutrient or a style of eating, and you can usually find something to back that up. The problem is not all of these studies are good and can be downright misleading, and I'll tell you why in a second here. But the one thing that remains true, no matter what you're doing, is that you should always be focusing on a whole foods-based diet if you want to be a lean, healthy, and happy human being. This is the only rule in nutrition, and it will always stay true no matter what. The problem is there's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing revolutionary about it. This isn't anything new. In fact, if you think about it, the whole foods-based approach is the original human diet. This is how we evolved to eat as human beings. And this is the make or break point for a lot of diets out there. Let's use keto, for example. You see some people that are killing it. They're doing keto right because they're doing it in a whole foods-based approach. They're eating a lot of non-starchy, green, leafy, cruciferous vegetables. They're eating eggs. They're eating fatty cuts of meat. They're eating a lot of avocados and nuts. And that's awesome. I'm a big fan. But then you see the other side of it where people are having all the processed keto bars, like Quest bars, for example. They eat a lot of keto balls, keto bombs, and keto protein powder, or anything that's packaged and is branded as keto. Those are two entirely different ways of eating. Yes, they're both branded as keto, but one is a healthy whole foods based keto, while the other one is just a diet full of processed carbs. Same thing with a plant-based diet. If for some reason you watch a stupid documentary like What the Health or Game Changers, they pull your little heartstrings and they do a really good job of it. And you now think that cow farts are the biggest contributors of CO2, or that eating eggs is as bad as smoking a cigarette, or that cows eat grass, so therefore we should just eat grass. I don't know, because you're not a cow. I feel anxious even mentioning those bogus claims. And by the way, none of the claims in those documentaries are based on good science. None. They're all just based on observational studies where they can only establish correlation but not causation. An example of a correlation study is, let's say Justin Bieber released his single Despacito in 2017. I'm sure you know the song, and then that same year, divorce rates went up. You can't just say that Justin Bieber caused the rise in divorce rates. That makes absolutely no sense. You can really only establish correlation. That is the type of research that's used in those documentaries. Does that sound like good science to you? The problem is, people watch a documentary like that with a plant-based agenda and they take it as the truth. But anyway, let's say you decide to go vegan because you think it's healthier. Then you better not be eating a lot of bread, pasta, cookies, Oreos, Twinkies, vegan chocolate cakes, or any of the mainstream plant-based meat substitutes. Like Beyond Meat, for example, which has at least 17 ingredients and it's been processed to the nth degree. How could you possibly think that that's healthy for you? Or really any of the horrible processed foods that's labeled as vegan simply because they contain no animal products. That makes no sense. But let's go a step further here. If you decide to go vegan because you don't want to harm animals, that's fine. That's totally respectable. I commend you for doing that. Just know that anytime you eat something that's processed and is grain-based, you are indirectly contributing to the death of millions of small animals. If you've ever seen how they harvest a wheat field, for example, and 90% of the foods out there are made out of grains these days, and a lot of them are considered vegan food. They have these giant machines that can stretch as wide as a football field, and little animals like rabbits, squirrels, hares, moles, weasels, and other small animals, those are their homes. And guess what happens to them during harvest season? Just use your imagination here. Do you kind of see what I mean here? This is why I don't like labels, even in relationships, but especially when it comes to diet, because the moment you say that you're on the keto diet, then all of a sudden that means that you're against everything that goes against keto. And then you get attacked by the anti-keto crowd. I told you, nutrition is like a religion for some people. Like if you were to put a label on my diet, I would be classified as keto, but I don't look at it that way. I'd like to think that I eat a diet that closely resembles the original human diet, because that's how we evolved to eat. My diet revolves around plants and animals. And again, I eat single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods about 90% of the time. And I'm not saying that my diet is the greatest diet of all time, by the way, but I'm healthy, I'm happy with my body, I have tons of energy, so it works for me. Like no matter what diet you're doing, following a whole foods-based approach should be your number one priority. After that, you can decide if you want to go keto, paleo, vegetarian, pescatarian, or vegan. I think that the followers of all those diets can agree to that. If you decide to go against that golden rule and you go on a crash diet, for example, and that's where you see people make ridiculous videos and say, I ate McDonald's every day for 30 days and I lost weight. Sure, I believe that. If you go on a calorie deficit and you're eating McDonald's, you're gonna lose weight. Like going on a calorie deficit always works at the beginning. You can eat Twinkies for 30 days, but if you're on a deficit, you will lose weight. But the key word here is at the beginning, especially if you only do it for 30 days. But your body is really smart. It's an adaptation machine. If you decide to eat McDonald's for 30 months, let's say, I hope you have health insurance. Now, this video would be incomplete if I didn't mention what a whole foods-based diet does to you on a physiological level, because this is how your body works. Eating whole foods will naturally optimize important hormones in your body. For example, it's gonna moderate your insulin levels, which is the hormone that controls your body weight. Very important if you wanna lose fat. It's gonna moderate cortisol, which is your stress hormone, because you won't have a blood glucose roller coaster ride. It's also gonna turn off ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and activate leptin and other satiety hormones to naturally signal your body that you're full. And I use these examples a lot for a reason. Like, what do you think is more satiating and just generally healthier for you? Bacon and eggs or breakfast cereal? A bowl of pasta or grilled chicken and some asparagus? How about almonds for a snack instead of Doritos? A scoop of protein powder post-workout or ground beef? Drinking a can of Diet Coke or just regular water? Do you see what I mean here? Now, there's actually a second rule that is directly linked to the golden rule. Like no matter what diet you're on or what nutrition plan you follow, everyone can agree that alcohol is not the healthiest thing you can put in the human body. And that might ruffle some feathers, but that's okay, I can take it. Alcohol is poison. You are literally poisoning your body just enough when you drink alcohol. That's how you get the buzz. If you drink too much, then that's when you get alcohol poisoning. And you can find some studies out there that says that, oh, red wine has some good stuff in it. And they usually point out the antioxidants in red wine. Well, that usually comes from the grapes. Why don't you just eat grapes? And if you're only after antioxidants, there are way better sources of antioxidants. Plus, those studies, again, are usually just observational studies. They can only establish correlation, but not causation. And beer, specifically, might be the worst alcoholic offender of them all because it also contains carbs. They don't call it a beer belly for nothing. Listen, you can eat all the whole foods on the planet, but if you chase it with a couple of beers or a couple of glasses of wine every night, you are gonna be severely disappointed by your results. Am I saying that you should never drink alcohol again? No, that's just not practical. I mean, I personally don't drink, but I also bartended for a few years, so I know that alcohol is just part of social gatherings. But alcohol, in my opinion, should fall in the 10% side of things. And I mentioned the 90-10 rule a lot. So 90% of the time, eat whole foods, while the other 10%, live your best life. That's the time that you allocate for gatherings and celebrations. During that time, don't feel bad when you have a glass of wine or when you eat a slice of cake. To me, that sounds way more practical rather than telling someone that they can't drink or have a treat forever. Where's the fun in that? At the end of the day, I think there's always gonna be a discussion about which diet or which lifestyle is best, and that's up to you. I do, however, think that all diets will work at some capacity as long as you follow the golden rule of a whole foods-based approach. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.